Um, our next area, of course, is to go around Europe, and we should start with Napoli because we've already brought them in, and we know they're interested in Nunes. You gave us a little bit of color on that, which maybe makes it not so realistic. But I was seeing, and I'm sure you are as well, the Nunes and Chiesa to Napoli stories for a couple of days. There was it yesterday, day before, and they are also apparently rumored to have an interest in Grealish as well as others. So Napoli throwing their weight around in terms of at least expressions of interest.
Yeah, they do seem like super busy, Napoli, and they seem to have a real eye on the Premier League, don't they? People forget that Scott McTominay, Billy Gilmore went there as well, didn't they? Scott McTominay, the Serie A Player of the Year, which just sounds absolutely insane to say. But even now, today, they've had a bid, I think it's been turned down for 30 million euros for Brighton's Matt O'Reilly, another Brighton player in there. But I don't know if they're playing like Football Manager 23 or something, but Jadon Sancho's of interest to them. Jack Grealish, as you've mentioned, it does seem they're really shopping in that Premier League market, doesn't it? And obviously add in Nunes and Chiesa. The only thing I saw on this is Matt O'Reilly can play midfield, attacking midfielder, but he can sort of play wide at a push. And I just thought when I saw this, I know they're different type of players, Trev, but does it have a knock-on impact on any potential move for Chiesa was something I was wondering about as well at the same time. Because you never got the feeling Napoli are not that club that's going to do a £300 million spend. They're not that type of club, are they, really? So I am intrigued to see what it means. But Napoli have very much got their eye across the Premier League.
You think it's possible maybe pyramid scheme McTominay has gotten in their ears and they're getting creative financially? I mean, I'm just floating that out there. We will go next to Germany and tie in with Leverkusen. I'd be surprised if there's not a Bayern story in there. And the Xavi Simons links, which were once so strong with us, appear to be maybe getting knocked back, and maybe old Xavi Simons is not quite as popular an option for people as he and his club thought. Where do we stand with the stories coming out of Germany at the moment, starting with Leverkusen, obviously?
Yeah, Leverkusen are about to have a whole chunk of change, burning a hole in their pocket, aren't they? And who are they spending on? Well, we know, obviously, that Joel Kwanzaa looks likely that part of that's going to go. But in terms of players that we've heard of, funnily enough, Leverkusen are looking at Bakayoko. Do you remember that PSV player? The year left on his contract, Belgium, right wing, left foot, so around 20 million. Also, and I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, the lad from Feyenoord, Igor Paixão, I think it's pronounced, but I'm probably butchering his name, a winger there on the left side there looking at. And as you mentioned, at one stage, I mean, Liverpool were linked with both solidly, weren't they? Šeško and Simons, which I was never keen on. I was sort of terrified. But it does seem it's gone quiet across the board for those two right now, doesn't it? That if Arsenal have moved back to Gyökeres, where does that leave Šeško, especially with the monumental fee that they've quoted? And I just love the fact that Šeško's agent is called Elvis in the first place. I think that's absolutely brilliant. But as he says on the screen, we've got a clear plan. We will never force, I like the way he phrases this, we will never force or blackmail Leipzig. Like, no one mentioned Leipzig or no one mentioned blackmail Elvis, but okay, you've brought it to the table. We do things in the right way or we don't do them. He'll only leave for a special club and project. But if there's no one willing to pay the right fee, he may just have to get used to another year in the Bundesliga. And there's still rumours with Xavi Simons, but again, nothing seems solid. And speaking of nothing seems solid, Bayern Munich look like they've missed out on their next first choice left winger, haven't they, in that regard? After Wirtz has bypassed them for us, it looks like someone else has picked Barcelona. So they're also working down the list as well. So it's not going too swimmingly for all clubs in Germany just now.
So Elvis has not left the building, is what you're saying. That's interesting. We will go to Saudi Arabia next, and there are going to be ongoing stories here. I love this one because I wouldn't have seen it, and now you've put it out there. I'm surprised they didn't. But apparently interest in Joe Linton. And we know Teo Hernandez is a guy who's, looking to move. But apparently a Spurs player of note who might be thinking of grabbing a big old bag for himself as well.
Yeah, almost doing it in reverse. It does seem there's a lot of clubs on the Saudi side interested in Son, who is a Spurs legend, I think it's fair to say, because of the length of time he's been there, captain. But I think he's been a brilliant player in his pomp. But you've seen this season, like De Bruyne and others, his legs are really on the wane, aren't they? So it might be a great time for Spurs to actually get a bit of dosh for him in that regard. So we'll have to see. Joe Linton, like you said, everyone forgets the relationship that Newcastle have with the Saudis, of course. And do you remember when Newcastle needed to raise some cash the other summer that, funnily enough, Alan Sam Maximan went to a Saudi Arabia club and they tried to get Miguel Almiron over there as well, who turned it down initially. So, yeah, it's funny that Joe Linton is potentially rumoured to be back on the cards, although suggestions that he won't be too keen on that. And as you mentioned, Teo Hernandez, that they couldn't get it done before the Club World Cup, but a lot of suggestions that the Saudis are still keen to get that one done. And it will be interesting as we almost get a bit later in the window and maybe Al Hilal do exit the Club World Cup. Just how active are the other Saudi clubs, and especially those PIF-based ones?
Absolutely going to be a massive influence. We'll finish with Barca because it does kind of tie back into the Diaz stories that we were hearing for a long time. But apparently the magician that is Joan Laporta has managed to conjure up another financial miracle. Talk to us about that and about their priority target, if you would.
Yeah, he trumps Jesus, doesn't he? With 5 lows and 27,000 leavers, does Laporta, doesn't he? Really? So yeah, he's proud doing his announcement. We've got it back to 1-on-1, like the nightclub banter, 1 in, 1 out, balancing the Euros there with the way it's done. And he was quite beating his chest in his press conference, wasn't he? Saying, we've got one deal done, which we know is that Joan Garcia, the keeper coming in from Espanyol, fully expecting Ter Stegen to probably depart, but we'll have to see. And he was bullish to also say, we're very close to one. And everyone had a hint, but this has really accelerated in the last 48 hours, haven't they? Nico Williams, the Bilbao Spanish international, the young winger, has agreed terms with Barcelona. Now, he's on massive money at Bilbao, so I'd love to know what the deal is, or what the deal isn't, shall we say, with what Barca are going to pay him. Because, suggestions that it's 7 to 8 million net a season. Well, what happens to that 1-on-1? That sounds a bit strange or a bit unbelievable, but we'll see what develops on that. And now Barca are trying to get this done. And I suppose the knock-on effect for us, we're a little bit uncertain, but Barcelona are never going to sign Nico Williams and Luis Diaz, aren't they? So it's quite clear they've picked Nico Williams, which probably deletes Barca, as we said before, off the list of options for Luis Diaz. Everyone expects this to happen, but it is Barcelona, so you're just never 100% sure.
Now, we've gone a little bit long. We're a minute over the hour or two almost, and I just want to just not wrap it up completely hurriedly just because of that, because we should sign off by saying we were kind of, I was him and hawing about whether or not it was a great idea to do one this evening with the likelihood of Vert stuff tomorrow. But there was such an accumulation of information coming in that would have been daft not to. That was your call and you were dead right. We're going to be back here on Monday doing the show again, because over the weekend, things will happen, won't they, Dave? Just remind people of the various things that are in play as we wrap this one up ahead of, we will be back with you on Monday evening.
Yeah, by Monday evening, so in only a few days' time, you would not be surprised. The stuff you're expecting a few nice quotes from Wirtz, aren't you? Some great photos to put up on the screen, and we're buzzing for that. It's fair to say you're expecting some announcement around Kirkes, aren't you, as the next one, like something agreed, moving that on, moving that forward. You're probably now, because of the way things have accelerated, expecting something more around Kwanzaa as well, aren't you? In terms of a deal agreed or some news, some update on that. You're hoping, probably because Kwanzaa's set to disappear, for maybe a little bit more on Mark Gay, seems the one, doesn't he? Or another centre-half at the same time as well. And you would love Alexander Isak to be either advanced or in some way, or happy if it's not been shot down fully as well at the same time. Because as you start to move these dates forward, people, I mean, jumping in my sort of calendar there, Monday's what? The 23rd, Trev, isn't it? The 23rd of June, Monday. Yep. That's only a week before that PSR window shuts, isn't it? So if clubs are going to do things, stuff's going to have to get moving, isn't it, in terms of sales and purchases? So I would be surprised if we've not got a fair bit more to talk about come Monday.
Yeah, in and out. So do keep it here. Lovely to see so many of you watching live. That counter just keeps getting bigger every show, which is lovely to see. If you're enjoying it, will you please tell someone about it, pass it on? That's usually the best way of getting the word out there. Thanks to all the people who engage in the comments. Sorry, I can't constantly be on top of it. It's just so much information. The stories, the show itself is the star. And if we can involve people, we will, but it can't always happen. Lovely to see your contributions there, though. So from Dave, from myself, for yet another time and in advance of being back with you within a couple of days. Good luck.